Hiya, it's Ellie here, and it's Friday, so we're going to do a little bit of funky fossil, which we like to have a bit of a funky fossil Friday. So I have planned today's little technique video. Hopefully I'll get a card made at the end of it as well, and it's based around this card here. And I had a lot of people asking me within groups and messaging me to find out how I did the background, or actually where I could get the where they could get the backing paper from. And it actually isn't a backing paper, it's created by using Angelic plates, distress oxides, and the stencils, various different stencils that I use within Funky Fossil. So this particular card's made up of that. I'm going to show you the technique on how to do it, and then I'm going to put some kind of similar cards together at the end. The flowers are also Funky Fossil. They are created using the Doodle Blooms set, which has got 17 fantastic dies in it. Floral, little dandelions, leaves, and these are brilliant for fillers and all sorts of different things that I'm going to be using in a lot of my videos in the future. I've been doing a lot of die cutting and having some of these things ready to kind of show you how to use them in other projects as well. I've also used the Smile, and that's from the Funky Word selection dies. Now that's a set of 5 dies. You've got Wish, Thank You, oh goodness me, there's oh, what else is there? Happy, Birthday and Love, and Smile. So that is that one. And then of course I've cut the flowers out using the beautiful watercolor rainbow pad. Now this has gone down an absolute storm. Everybody's using it. Tony Darrett's using it in Stamps by Me for a lot of her projects, some of her new silhouette stamps that she brought out. Obviously Sarah's using it within Funky Fossils, and they've just gone flying out because they are the most gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous papers and backgrounds, and because they're acid and lignin free, you can ink them up, cut them up, emboss on them. You can even do little bits of watercolouring on them using your alcohol pens, but they are beautiful. The colours and, you know, the orientations of what they are. You can make your own you know, background for whatever. I mean, this, you know, is like a sea, so you could use the mermaids and the surfboards and that kind of thing. But I just love this, and it's amazing. There's 2 sizes. This is the 8x8, and there is a little 6x6 pad as well. So they are pretty much my go-to for a lot of backgrounds and a lot of cutting out. And as you can see, I've actually cut out some flowers from that Funky Flowers set using the rainbow colour pad, and these are all ready to go on our card when I've shown you how to make that background. I've got a couple of white leaves. And what I've also done using the words, I've used a different word for this project. I've cut it out 3 times, because then what I'll do is I'll just stack it on top of each other, and it'll just give a little bit of height and rigidity to the word as well, which is what I've done with this. I think I've stacked this up 2 or 3 times as well. So, and then this is just from my stash, this little floral centre. I'm sure you've all got different floral centres in your stash, and I've got, obviously I can't do anything at the moment without using my water gems. I absolutely love those. So the little session that I had about a week ago with my jelly plates, I actually turned out a few of these. So I love using the distress inks because they create the most sort of pastel soft effects, and again it's using the different stencils from Funky Fossil. So as I'm doing a couple of stencils to show you, I'll let you know which stencil it is that I'm using. So I'll do positive and negative, which I'll show you how I do that. This is using one of the recent stencil releases, which is that beautiful palm leaf. Absolutely love that. These are the Doodle I'll find it after and I'll show you, but I think the doodle blooms, I think, I'm not sure, not 100%. This one's the stars. In the background, I've kind of done a watery effect with that, which was the negative effect. Again, I'll show you how I got the two. So this is the original one that I got, and then this is what I got with what was left on the jelly plates. Again, the palms, again, that technique where I've used the I've printed off where I've got the ink from the inside of the stencil. Again, I'll show you in a minute. And then what's left on the jelly plate. I don't like wasting anything. And then I think I've just basically got another third generation. And then that's from one of the falling dots. So, without further ado, I'll make this quite a quick video for you. This is my jelly plate. It's one of the big ones. It is the 10 by 8 inch, which is 20.3 centimeters by 25.4 centimeters. So it is the biggest one that I know of anyway. And I've just popped that down onto a huge stamping mat here. I think this is Clarity. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's the Clarity mount, which I think she actually made for the jelly plate. So, and it always stays in there, and I turn it upside down in you know, in its box at the end of the day. So what I'm going to do, I also used a brayer, and I've just got a little selection of colours at the side, so I'm just going to pull the colours in and show you what I'm using. So for this first one, I am going to use the Pink Raspberry and Broken China, and honestly all I'm doing is just popping it on next to each other like that. There's really honestly no clever tricks or anything. And then with my brayer, I'm going to just soften it out and blend where it meets the blue. Okay, and then all I'm going to do then is just spritz the top and just let it settle for a second. And then the biggest thing that I have to do really is to decide which stencil I'm going to use. So I think the first one I'm going to use Grungy Roses, because I haven't done anything with the Grungy Roses. So I'm going to pop that down on the top of the jelly plate. So I'm not doing anything complicated at all. Just going to have a quick slurp of my brew before it was cold. And then all I'm using is some super smooth cord, and I've just cut it down to A5. So all my A4 pads I've cut down to A5 because it's a perfect. So I'm going to pop that down, and then all you're doing is using your fingers and rubbing that through. And that is honestly as complicated as it gets. So when you lift that up, you get a gorgeous imprint. So you get what I call the inside of the stencil. So whatever you would, you know, medium you would use to go over your stencil, whether it be inking or paste or whatever, you'd get that initial. And this has got, I think that's brilliant actually, what's gone at either side. So there you go. So that's one print. Pop that to one side, and then all I'm going to do is I'm going to lift up the stencil, and if you can see, I'm just going to lift this up. You can see closely there, there's still the, you know, what you've taken off, there's still what's left that was underneath that stencil. So I'm going to pop this down like so, and again all I'm doing is rubbing it with my fingers. Time for another manicure, I think. So rubbing it with my fingers. Okay, it's just a case of letting that ink soak into that paper. It's having that patience, isn't it, just to let it do its thing. And then I'm going to lift it up, and look at that. I absolutely love that, because obviously you know, you cut it down, turn it into a tag, use it as a backing paper. But I mean, I just love it. And then that's your second print from that particular one, which, to be fair, has cleaned your jelly plates. You're good to go for your next bit. But then if you look on your stencil, on the other side of your stencil, when you've taken it up, it's full of ink. So all I'm going to do is just spray that, and I'm just going to see what we get from that. I honestly don't like to waste an ounce of ink, so pop that down and just see what we get out of there. I don't like to waste anything. It's always good to keep going until you've got nothing left for your backgrounds. Again, just let it do its thing, and then just having another little sip of my tea before it goes cold. I have a bad habit of having a brew and getting to it when it's freezing. Right, so that should be, we'll see what we get off that. And there you go again. And it's sort of, it's not a very light print either. It's still just as juicy. So that's your print off the back of the stencil when it's had its thing. That's off the jelly plate when you've lifted the stencil. And then you've got your first bit, which is what you've got through your stencil. So that's 3 just out of that little bit to start off with. So I've just popped them to one side. Pop that to one side, give it a little wipe shortly. Don't need to do it just now. And then let's pick another stencil. I love this one. This one is the woodcut flowers. So the first one we used was the grungy roses. Okay. And then this one's the woodcut stencil. So I'm going to choose a couple of different colours. So let's pick some yellow. Pop that down. And yellow goes nicely with let's just pop some green down. So what I'm going to do is same thing as I did. All you're doing is just blending that transition between the 2 colours so that it's just not quite so rough. Okay. So then again, a little squirt of water. Okay, pop your stencil down, grab your card, and then use your fingers just to push that card into the stencils, and you're going to get your first impression. Okay, so we'll do this one and then I'll make a nice card to finish off this little session. So I'll lift it up, and then you've got that gorgeous background. I do love these flowers, they're absolutely wicked. So then we're going to take the flower off. Don't forget we've got all that on the back of there, but we'll come back to that in a second because you've also got what's left on here. So if I angle that, you can see that beautiful. We're going to grab that now. So for our second one, so get as much of that gorgeousness on there as possible. Again, it's just a case of letting the ink do its thing, let it soak into the paper. It is worth that extra couple of seconds, I promise, just to get a really, really good impression. And as I say, I love this soft, you know, this soft impression that the Distress inks give. I love using the sprays, and I love using, you know, pens and what have you. And I'm gonna have a go at using some watercolours. I've used the Pearly Ink sprays. I'll use some of them next. Now I actually want to have a go at chucking some gold down as well. So chucking, a bit common, kinda. Right, so lift that up and look at that beautiful print. Absolutely beautiful. And it is dry immediately. And you've cleaned your plate. You don't even have to worry about any clean-up. So then the last thing we want to do is pick up that beautiful ink from the back of the actual stencil. So I'm just going to pop that down. Again, just let it do its thing. Bit of a repeater on that, just have a bit of patience, let it soak in. Okie dokie. There we go. Okay, let's have a look and see what we get off here. No, that wasn't too full of ink at the end of that. Okay, what I'll do, I'll pop that to one side to be washed. And what I want to do, while I'm on camera, I'm going to try something. Now, this may not work, it may do, I don't know. I just want to see. I'm going to splat some gold down. I'm actually going to splat some gold. And what I want to do, I'm just going to pop the card over the top and just see how that actually comes out. I do love using gold. Right, so this is just a quick experiment. So I'll use this that didn't have a lot on it, just to see how that comes through. So I'm going to pop that down onto the gold splats. I really do love using gold. It's become one of my favourite things to do as part of my crafting at the moment, so it's a phase, I think. So let's see what that does. Yeah, that's pretty cool, that. Yeah, I like that. Let's see if we can angle that to get a little bit. Yeah, quite like that. That'll make a nice subtle background. And see if I can get any more of that. Yes, so I'll move that to one side because now I'm going to put a card together. So we've got on that one, when we're using the woodcut flowers, that was our first one. That was our second one. So it's kind of negative and positive. Well, it's not kind of, it is negative and positive. And then this one, we tried to get what was left. There wasn't really that much left, but it is quite a nice, subtle background. So all that really remains is to decide what I'm going to use as the background for the flower. I think I'm going to use this one. Okay, so I'll move this out of the way. So prior to coming on to the video, I actually cut a base card of 5.5 by 5.5. So I just want to cut this down to fit onto that card. So let's have a look. So I want to, if we're going to do 5.5, 5.5. So I'm going to just pop that down a couple of notches. What did we do that down to? I forgot now. So have a look. So did it to there. Pop that down. Let's just check that's fitting on there nicely. Maybe a little bit less. Pop it down to there perhaps. There, that's better. So we've got a nice base, a nice mat to go onto that 5.5 by 5.5. So it's, I think I've done it to 5.25. Okay, so been a bit very noisy today. So I've got all these little bits and pieces here. So the first thing I'm going to do is just pop this together, so that can be drying whilst waiting while I'm putting the rest of it together. Oopsie daisy. So literally all I'm doing is just adhering it straight on top, and all this is going to do is just going to give a little bit of rigidity, so it's a bit stronger. So okie dokie, so there we go. This dries clear anyway, so I'm not too worried about it just peeking out if it does peek out. And this is quite good for me because sometimes I don't get this right and it ends up being a little bit wonky, so that's not been too bad. Yeah. So we've got our wish, so that'll just dry whilst we put the rest of these bits together. So all I'm going to do with the flower is grab a ball tool, which I didn't prepare handy before I came on. So just grabbing a ball tool, but with me 1 second. Honestly, I'm terrible. Can't find it. Oh, there it is. Right, yeah, found it. I found my ball tool. We're back. Right, so I'm just literally just going to use the biggest end just to give it a good run round. So all I need really now is just to decide the orientation of where I'm popping these flowers. Let's just give these a little bit of a curl. So what I'm also going to do, I'm just going to pick a centre for the flower. Right, I think what we'll do is we'll go with the silver. So I'll use one of these, and then I also want to grab some water gems. Surprise, surprise. Okay, so let's just put all this together now. So we've got our leaf, like so, and wish. So I need 3 really, don't we? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop those out of the way. So I'm not going to do exactly the same as what I did with the other one. I'm just going to do something a little bit different. I'm just going to pop that down. Pop that down. And just to show you can put something quick together as well. So I'm just going to vandalise the poor leaf. So I tuck that in up there. Okay. And vandalise this poor leaf. Okay. I'll tuck this in at the opposite side. So I'll pop that under there. So then I'll pop these leaves in. So I'll pop one up there and one down here. Okay, and then for just a bit of contrast, I've got some little white leaves there. Pop that down there. So then I pop this down, coming out there. So you've got a sort of a bouquet, if you like. Okay. Right, so I'm going to grab my wish and I'm going to pop that back a bit more glue on the bottom. Now then, do I pop it up at the top or do I pop it in here? Yeah, I'll pop it here. Okay, so I'm just going to use a bit of scrap to pop that down. Okay. And then I'm going to grab the silver gems for the flowers. Actually, no, I don't like that. See if I've got something a little bit bigger. Let's have a look at now. Have a look. Still here. Trying to find some bigger gems. You want one of those? I've got kind of like a love heart in it. So these are literally just out of my stash. Okay, and then another one here, and that says love in it. That is so cute, and the other one's got a little love heart in it as well. So I'm just going to pop those down. I just think they're much better for the size of the flowers, and I'm going to scoot them up a bit. Okay, and then I'm just going to bring in my card base. Now for the edges, I'm going to grab, because we've used, sorry about my arm, because we've used greens, I'm going to grab a Spectrum Noir alcohol marker, and I'm just going to edge so that it's not a stark white edge. Okay. And I can see it makes that pop off like so. Now all I need to do is glue the whole thing to the backing card. Pop that on like so. And there we've got gorgeous card, and that is the other one that I made. So quite happy with both of those, absolutely love them. So those are the cards. Okay, and we'll just do a quick recap on the products. So I have used the Funky Fossils watercolour rainbow pad. Let's start with that. So I've used the watercolour rainbow pad, and that's what I've used for creating the beautiful flowers. And the beautiful flowers were created by using the Doodle Balloons, and that's a die set that you'll find on Funky Fossils, and there's 17 dies in it. Bumper pack of dies, absolutely fabulous. And then I've used the word die, which is from the Funky Words die set, which gives you 5 different words. Okay, and if you're just wondering what these are the fantastic edge dies. Again, in another video I'll show you what I've made, or I'll make something with those as well. So that's those 3 products there. And then of course I have used, they're a bit mucky actually, but I'll bring them into shots. I have used the woodcut flowers and the grungy roses stencils, so they're just going to go and have a nice clean up now. So there's your products that you can go to Funky Fossils and you can buy your own sets. And hopefully, if you have enjoyed the projects that I've made today, and well, this was already made, but based on that project, you'll have a go yourself. And I'll see you really soon in another video. So thanks for staying with me, and take care. Happy Friday, Funky Fossil Friday, and I'll see you soon. Bye.